Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking into a financial philosophy, one that's really changed how millions view money. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
That's right.
Our mission here is to pull out the core ideas and maybe some surprising facts from the source material that give you a really different take on money, on wealth.
Yeah, helping you see how much mindset and financial education really matter.
Absolutely. What's fascinating, I think, is how it just flies in the face of so much common advice about money.
It really does. It sets up these two, completely contrasting viewpoints.
Yeah.
And that can spark some real aha
Mhm.
moments, Makes you question what you thought was true.
For sure. So the whole book, the whole idea, hinges on Kiyosaki's two dads, his actual father and his best friend's dad. Totally different financial worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with his poor dad. This was his biological father, super smart guy, highly educated.
Right, PhD, right. Stanford, Chicago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Undergrad in under 2 years, advanced degrees from Stanford, Chicago, Northwestern, all on full scholarships.
Yeah.
Really intelligent.
Wow. Impressive credentials.
But, and here's the kicker, Kiyosaki says he always struggled with money. Always. And sadly, even left bills behind.
Despite the brains and the presumably good income.
Exactly. Now contrast that with Rich Dad. This was his friend Mike's father.
And he didn't have the fancy
He
education.
didn't even finish 8th grade. But he became one of the richest men in Hawaii. Left millions behind family, charities, church.
That's quite the difference. Both worked hard, earned decent money, apparently.
Yep, both hardworking, good earners, but the outcomes, night and day. So it makes you ask, what was the difference? In their thinking, mostly.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. And their advice, their mindsets were polar opposites. Like, poor dad would say, the love of money is the root of all evil.
A classic one.
But rich dad, he flipped it. The lack of money is the root of all evil.
Ooh, interesting twist.
My favorite, though, the one that really sticks, is poor dad saying, I can't afford it.
Which just shuts down thinking, right?
Yeah, exactly. Rich dad said that phrase just stops your brain. Dead halt. But he would ask, how can I afford it?
Putting the brain to work.
Right. Exercising, as he put it, the most powerful computer in the world, your brain to find a way.
That difference in questioning is huge.
Yeah.
And it brings up something important for you, the listener. How did you first learn about money?
Good question. From parents, usually.
Mostly, yeah. And Kiyosaki argues that often means we inherit this poor person's financial programming. He makes a really critical point. Schools teach us academic stuff, professional skills.
Yeah, how to be a good employee.
Exactly. But financial skills, mostly ignored. That's why you see brilliant doctors, lawyers, accountants, whatever, who are still, struggling financially.
Despite being top of their class.
Right. It's like that Robert Frost poem, The Road Not Taken. There are these two paths for financial knowledge, and most of us only get shown the one.
That fits perfectly, and it leads right into Kiyosaki's main lesson, I think.
Which is, the rich don't work for money. Simple as that. The poor and the middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them.
A totally different way of looking at it.
Completely. He tells this wild story from when he was 9. He and his friend Mike wanted to make money.
Uh-oh. Kids making money.
Yeah. So they decided to melt down old lead toothpaste tubes to cast their own nickels.
Wait, like counterfeit nickels?
Literally. Hilarious, right. Totally illegal, obviously.
Yeah.
But it shows their early entrepreneurial spirit, maybe?
Or just kids being kids. But it sets up what Rich Dad did next, which was pretty unusual.
Very unconventional.
Okay.
So Rich Dad hired them, paid them like 10 cents an hour for boring work.
And sense. Even back then, that must have felt like nothing.
Right. Then, even weirder, he stopped paying them altogether. Nothing.
Okay, why? What was the point?
It wasn't punishment. It was a lesson about the rat race.
Ah, the famous rat race. Get up, go to work, pay bills.
Get up, go to work, pay bills, that endless cycle. He wanted them to feel the emotions that drive most people's financial lives, like fear. Fear of not having enough money.
Exactly. Fear of not paying the bills, and also desire wanting nicer things, more stuff. He argued those emotions trap people into just constantly working for money, chasing the next paycheck.
So it's not just about the money itself, but the emotions around money.
Precisely. And just earning a lot isn't the solution if you don't have financial smarts. Kiyosaki brings up lottery winners.
Oh, yeah. Or pro athletes. Make millions.
And then lose it all in a few years.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder that it's not just about making money, it's about what you do with it.
Right. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, what's the foundation Kiyosaki builds on?
Financial literacy. He says true wealth isn't just how much you make, it's how much you keep.
Okay, keeping it. How?
That brings us to his rule #1. Super important. You must know the difference between an asset and a liability, and buy assets.
Asset versus liability. Define those simply.
His definition is dead simple. An asset puts money in my pocket. A liability takes money out of my pocket.
Lets money in, takes money out. Seems straightforward.
It sounds basic, but he argues that's where most people, well, get tripped up.
How so?
Think about the typical American dream. You get a good job, higher income. What happens next?
Bigger house, nicer car, more stuff.
Exactly. But that means higher expenses, more taxes, bigger property taxes, car payments, furniture loans, credit card debt.
So the higher income just fuels higher spending, creating debt, not wealth.
Precisely. You end up building your liability column, not your asset column. And this leads to one of his most debated points.
Let me guess. The house.
Bingo. Rich Dad argues your home is often not an asset. It's usually a liability.
Oof. People don't like hearing that.
No, they don't. He says if your house is your largest investment, you're probably in trouble.
That really challenges a core belief for many people, doesn't it? Homeownership is security. It's the dream.
It is, emotionally. But Kiyosaki forces you to look at the numbers. Mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, repairs, upkeep.
All money going out of your pocket month after month.
Right. And it ties up a huge chunk of capital that maybe, just maybe, could be working for you elsewhere, generating income.
So his point is that most people end up working for everyone else.
Pretty much. You work for your boss, the company owner. You work for the government taxes take the first chunk. You work for the bank mortgage, car loans, credit cards.
But not really for yourself, financially speaking.
Not in a way that builds real independent wealth. His philosophy is about shifting that, making your financial freedom the priority.
Okay, so if you stop working for money, what's the alternative? What are you supposed to be doing?
You're minding your own business.
Minding your own business, like literally starting a company.
Not necessarily just that. He makes a distinction. Your profession, being a doctor, a teacher, whatever, that's different from your business.
Okay.
Your business, he says, should be focused on one thing: building your asset column, filling it up.
And what counts as a real asset in this book?
Things like businesses that don't need you there all the time to run them. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, income-generating real estate rentals, basically.
Stuff that pays you without you actively trading your time for it.
Exactly. Royalties from intellectual property count too, like music or patents or books, things that generate ongoing income streams.
Got it. Building those passive income sources.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting, maybe a bit controversial too. He talks a lot about the power of corporations.
Ah, setting up a company structure. Why is that so important for him?
Taxes, mainly. He explains how, legally, corporations can pay many expenses before they pay taxes. Employees pay taxes first, then spend what's left.
So it's a significant tax advantage, the wealthy use.
A huge legal advantage. It allows the rich, structured correctly, to pay way less tax proportionally than employees. Plus, corporations offer liability protection.
Protection from lawsuits and things.
Yeah, that's why he says the rich often control everything but own nothing directly. They use these structures.
That's a clever way to put it. Control without direct ownership. And this ties into his idea of inventing money.
It does. It's not just about hard work. It's about financial intelligence, being bold, seeing opportunities.
Like finding deals others miss.
Exactly. He uses his own example. Buying foreclosed houses, cheap, say, $20,000, then turning around and advertising them for like $60,000 with zero money down from the buyer.
How does that work? Where's the money?
He takes a promissory note, basically an IOU from the buyer. The buyer pays him over time. Since he put little or no cash in initially,
He creates an income stream out of almost nothing. An infinite ROI, return on investment.
that's what he called it, because his initial cash outlay was minimal or zero. It's financial creativity.
Okay, that's a powerful example. And he boils this down to needing a high financial IQ, right? What does that involve?
He breaks financial IQ into 4 key technical skills. First is accounting.
Reading the numbers. Financial literacy.
Yep, understanding financial statements.
Yeah.
Second is investing, the science he calls it, of money-making money.
Growing your capital. Makes sense. What's third?
Understanding markets, supply and demand, knowing what makes markets tick, including the psychology, the emotions involved.
Right, because markets aren't always purely rational.
Not at all. And fourth is the law. Having an awareness of regulations, corporate, state, federal, and how to use them to your benefit, legally, of course.
So, accounting, investing, markets, and law. That's the toolkit.
That's the core technical toolkit. Ultimately, he keeps coming back to this idea that money is really just an idea. Success comes from changing your thinking, not just working harder.
Money's an idea. That's
Yeah.
something to chew on.
Yeah.
But even if you have the knowledge, he says there are roadblocks, right? Things that stop people.
Oh, yeah. He lists 5 main ones. The first big one, fear.
Fear of what? Losing money.
Exactly. Fear of losing money holds so many people back. He says winning means being unafraid to lose.
That takes courage. Failure is tough.
But he argues failure inspires winners. It teaches them. It only defeats losers. He uses this Texan attitude example.
Which is,
If you're going to go broke, go big. Like, don't be afraid of calculated risks.
okay, so overcome fear. What's obstacle number 2?
Cynicism. The chicken little types always saying the sky is falling.
The constant critics, the doubters.
Right. He says critics are often blind. They criticize without analyzing, so they miss opportunities everyone else sees. Like someone dismissing real estate saying, ugh, I don't want to fix toilets.
Instead of thinking, okay, how do I solve the toilet problem? Hire a manager.
Exactly. Analysis versus criticism. Okay, third obstacle, laziness.
Laziness. But people work hard.
Often it manifests as being too busy to manage finances, too busy to learn about investing.
Ah, the convenient excuse. How do you fight that?
He suggests, kind of cheekily, a little greed, asking yourself, what's in it for me if you take that financial action you're avoiding?
I'm finding the motivation.
Yeah, and it connects back to I can't afford it versus how can I afford it? One stops the brain, the other engages it. Laziness often prefers the first one.
Gotcha. Obstacle 4.
Bad habits. And the main one he flags is the habit of paying yourself last.
Meaning paying all the bills and expenses first and only saving or investing if there's something left over.
Exactly, which often means nothing is left over. The rich, he claims, develop the discipline to pay themselves first.
But what if there isn't enough money to cover everything else then?
He says, use that pressure. Let the creditors scream a bit. That pressure becomes motivation to find more income, to make the numbers work. Instead of just dipping into savings or investments, it forces financial creativity.
That's a tough discipline. Pay yourself first no matter what.
It is. Okay, final obstacle. Number 5 is arrogance.
Arrogance, like thinking you know it all.
Pretty much, believing that what I don't know isn't important. He stresses being open, learning from experts, welcoming new ideas. True ignorance isn't just not knowing, it's thinking what you don't know doesn't matter.
So stay humble, stay curious. Fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, arrogance. Those are the big 5 hurdles.
According to Rich Dad, yes.
Okay, so if we tie all this together, overcoming these obstacles, learning the skills, the core message seems to be that learning is the real key.
Absolutely. Education, financial education specifically, is the foundation. And he gives some pretty concrete to-dos to get started.
Actionable steps are good, like what?
First, find a reason bigger than reality. Your why. Why do you really want to be financially free? That drives everything.
Okay, find your deep motivation.
Second, invest in your education. Seminars, books, courses. He talks about spending $385 on one course that supposedly made him millions. The ROI on knowledge can be huge.
So learning isn't an expense, it's an investment.
Exactly. Third, choose your friends wisely. Hang out with people who actually talk about money, investing, ideas for growth, not just problems or gossip.
Surround yourself with the right influences. Makes sense.
Fourth, master one formula first. Don't try to do everything at once. Maybe it's small rental properties, maybe stock options. Focus, master it, then learn a new one.
Become an expert in one niche before diversifying too much.
Right. Fifth, that key habit again. Pay yourself first. Build that discipline.
Keep reinforcing that one.
Sixth, pay your advisors well. Brokers, accountants, attorneys, good advisors provide valuable information and save you money or make you money. Don't cheap out on expertise.
Good advice costs money, but bad advice costs a fortune.
Well said. Seventh, he has this concept he calls being an Indian giver, which obviously the term is dated, but the concept is get your initial investment back out of a deal as quickly as possible.
So you reduce your risk to 0.
Essentially, get your seed money back and then let the asset continue to work for you for free,
Yeah.
generating profit with none of your own capital tied up anymore.
Okay, minimize risk, maximize upside. What else?
Eighth, choose your heroes. Study financial giants. He mentions people like Trump, Buffett, Soros back then. Learn how they think, how they operate. Emulate them.
Find role models and learn from them.
And finally, ninth, teach others. He believed, teach and you shall receive. Explaining concepts to someone else forces you to understand them better, and it often attracts new insights or opportunities.
Sharing knowledge reinforces it.
Hmm.
That's true. He also mentioned different types of income.
Yes, crucially, 3 types. First, ordinary earned income.
That's your paycheck from a job, right? Money you work for.
Exactly. Second, portfolio income.
From paper assets, stocks, bonds.
Yep, making money from investments. Third, passive income.
That's from assets like real estate rentals or businesses you own but don't actively run day to day.
Correct. Money that assets generate for you. And the real key to financial freedom, he argues, is converting your earned income.
To passive and portfolio income as much as possible.
That's the game plan.
So wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway for you, the listener?
I mean, Rich Dad, Poor Dad really pushes a fundamental shift in how you think about money. It's not just paper or coins, it's an idea.
A concept.
Yeah. And getting wealthy isn't necessarily about working harder for money, but about changing your mindset, getting financially educated, and figuring out how to make money work hard for you.
It really comes down to what's between your ears, doesn't it? As Kiyosaki says, what is in your head determines what is in your hands.
That sums it up pretty well.
So maybe the final question for you to ponder after this is, instead of just focusing on working harder, how could you start making money work harder for you? And maybe more importantly, what assumptions about money, work, and wealth might you need to challenge first?